Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tara, Usap Tayo. I'm Randolph.
And I'm Jaydee.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. So before we begin our podcast, I would just like to take this moment to thank our collaborators. So our first collaborator is Coffee Concept. So lagi na namin siyang pinag-uusapan in our past podcast. So what is Coffee Concept? Coffee Concept is this online business that offers natural coffee and teas. So based from experience, I've ordered their coffee and their tea. Masarap siya, guys, and it's natural. And what I've seen in their page is that they are expanding their array of products. So now they have new varieties of coffee that came from abroad. I think they have coffee from Ethiopia, they have coffee from the Arab world, and many more.
Brazil.
Huh?
Even Brazil, they have Brazil.
Yes, even
And
Brazil.
I just got a delivery a while ago. It's a coffee from Bali.
Okay, so
Indonesia.
they also have coffee from Brazil. So Coffee Concept is really good. Aside from coffee, they also offer natural loose leaf tea. So guys, this tea is loose leaf, so it's free from preservatives. It's free from the processing of a plant, so it's much healthier for you. So you can reach Coffee Concept through Facebook. You just have to search them on Facebook and type Coffee Concept, or you may just call them through this number 0915-877-2089. And this is the number of Miss Karen Solonga. Again, that's 0915-877-2089.
Another partner that we have is of course, ano magandang kapares ng kape ay mga tinapay, no? Bread and pastries, of course, is a perfect partner for coffee. Andyan ang pangalawa naming collaborator, the Pancho's Lab. So Pancho's Lab offers different pastries, but they're also planning to expand it with pastas. But right now, they're offering pastries like cinnamon roll, at and brownies and cheesecakes. No, so you can reach them through Facebook. Just type Pancho's Lab, and you can also call them or message them through Mr. Hans Van Dogwe at 0975-378-4414. Again, that's 0975-378-4414. So you can call Pancho's Lab. No, they really offer a good variety of pastries. Quality talaga yung sarap niya.
Okay, so once again, thank you to our collaborators. So for
Thank you.
tonight, JD, what are we going to talk about?
So for tonight, no, we're going to talk about one of the trending issues that we are facing today is the online classes, remote learning, distance learning. So we'll be talking to our students on what are important tips, no, survival tips before you enter online learning or remote learning. Again, whatever we are going to say right now is not limited to what we will just be sharing. Madaming survival tips, no? But again, surviving online class and remote learning will take a lot of considerations like the economic background of the students, the family, of course, the subject, the mode of instructions, and yeah, we'll be dealing about a lot of issues today.
Yes, and take note, our tips or the survival tips that we're going to give you are also based from experiences since JD and I are also taking online classes for our master's degree. So sit back, listen up, and I hope you enjoy our podcast. So let's take off with our first tip. But before that, let's give a brief background. Why did we have online classes? Again, so we had online classes in order to continue education amidst the pandemic. Now, there are a lot of concerns to the general public, and they are demanding academic freeze. Now, I could see, nakikita ko naman yung point ng general public, especially those uh, who are in a very poor socioeconomic status na medyo mahirap nga mag-online learning and mahirap nga yung uh, remote learning for them kasi medyo limited ang kanilang sources. However, nagigets rin naman namin yung side ng CHED at ng department because they are trying to lessen the instances of dropouts kasi they're fearing na if ever they freeze the school year, baka umonti na yung enrollees then the following year kasi nagkaroon na ng stagnation. So nawala na yung motivation, hindi na natuloy-tuloy yung momentum. And since online classes and remote learning is ongoing and wala pa rin namang abiso sa gobyerno na ipapatigil ito, we're going to give our best to share to you some tips in order to make your lives easier.
Yes. So it's a very sensitive and very timely topic because a lot are asking for academic fees, but a lot is also pursuing no to continue education because of the reason na nabanggit mo kanina. And what we have right now is a situation that we really did not plan or we really did not want agad-agad na mangyari. No, so it's really difficult for us. Both me and Randolph are both. I'm doing online teaching already because we are ongoing, and I'm also taking online classes as a student. So the tips that we will be giving to you are only based or generally or mostly based on our experiences. So I hope it helps those who are in the same situation that we have, but we cannot assure that it will help the entire public who are listening. But I hope it helps.
Okay, so let's start off with our first tip. Do you want to go first or me? Okay, so I'll go first. So the first tip that I have for you is devote a certain time of day for your class or answering your module. Nung estudyante kasi ako, meron kaming mantra nung isa kong kaklase na if it becomes your habit, it becomes your practice. Okay? And eventually, your practice becomes your lifestyle. Okay? So, how would you develop a habit? So, kailangan mo lang siyang paulit-ulitin araw-araw. So, you have to devote a certain time of day for your class. Now, dahil ito ay remote learning at online class, this is quite flexible. So, bakit siya naging quite flexible? Kasi, unang-una, sa remote learning, walang supervision ni teacher. So, you could answer the module whenever you want at your own time. So, online naman, hindi naman laging merong live conference meeting. So, meron tayong mga tinatawag na asynchronous materials kung saan manonood lang kayo ng videos na para na ring lesson. Now, that gives flexibility to students. Now, you as a student, you have to devote a certain time in a day. For example, ako, I always devote studying from 5 p.m. up to 8 p.m. So, bakit 5 p.m.? Kasi dahil 5 p.m. kasi nagtatrabaho ako, I'm also working from home. So, our official time is from 8 to 5. And then from 5 in the afternoon until 8 in the evening, I will be doing my asynchronous classes. Now, it's important na maging advanced kayo sa inyong online class or remote learning. So, bakit kailangan? Kasi, ang nangyayari sa akin, nakaset up lahat nung kailangang aralin, yung module 1, 2, 3, and then may deadline kami. Like for example, module 1, tapos mo na siya within the first week. module 2, tapos mo na siya within the second week. Ang ginagawa ko, gusto ko, kailangan advance ako. So, bakit ako nag-a-advance? Kasi alam naman natin, ng internet dito sa Pilipinas ay medyo unstable. So, kapag dumating yung time na nawalan ako ng internet, at least I won't be, hindi ako mag-aalala. Okay? Kasi nauuna na ako sa aking schedule. Okay? So, I have extra time to spare in the case na mawala ng internet. So, hindi ako magpapanik, hindi ako mag-worry na maaabutan ako ng deadline. So, that's my first tip.
Okay. My second tip will be, of course, the environment that you would be kung saan ka magkaklase, mag-aaral, make sure that it is convenient for you as a student. Although mahirap kasi nga different houses, different households, different homes, different setups. Hindi natin alam kung anong sitwasyon ng bata o kung anong sitwasyon mo sa tahanan mo. Pero make sure that before you engage to online learning or online classes, make sure that your position or your location is convenient for you to learn or to hear the online classes, no? To learn from the online classes. And of course, writing is still necessary. I encourage you guys to still have a pen and paper with you, a pen and notebook, and not only depend on the screens. Kasi maganda pa rin ang nagsusulat. That's my tip. That's kasi ang tip mo kanina is about, 'di ba, ano lang din, environment din.
Mm-hmm.
And my tip will be for students to still have a pen and paper with them because writing is still an effective way of learning, no, according to Dale's cone of learning kasi you're using a lot of senses. You're listening at the same time you're reading it, and at the same time you're writing it. So please write pa rin, students, kahit na hindi kayo nakikita nila teacher na nagsusulat. No, kasi if you're not writing, hindi mo niloloko ang teacher mo, you're just fooling yourself. Remember that education is a two-way process of a teacher and a student. So that's my tip. Magsulat.
Yes. I would like to highlight that kasi totoo yung sinabi ni Jaydee na the more senses that you use in your learning, the more that you'll remember what you're learning. So, gamitin ng mga senses, sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of touch. So, napakalaki talaga ng tulong ng pagsusulat. Plus, ang kagandahan nito, kung dati sa face-to-face classes, hinahabol niya yung sinasabi ni teacher. So medyo kulang-kulang yung notes nyo. But this time, sa online learning at saka sa remote learning, nasa inyo ang material. So pwede nyo munang i-pause yung video kapag masyado kayong nabibilisan and then magsulat kayo. So tulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, this is much more flexible compared to face-to-face learning. Okay. Now, for our second tip, our third tip rather, for me, one of the best tips that I could give you is rest. Rest in increments. Okay, so what do I mean by rest in increments? So kunwari ako, sinabi ko kanina, my time of studying is between 5 p.m. up to 8 p.m. Okay, so meron akong 3 oras na dedicated time for studying. Now, hindi naman yun dire-diretso. Okay? Kasi mababaliw ka rin naman if continuous and dire-diretso yung pag-aaral mo. Remember, in studying, you're using your brain, you're using your hands, and those are muscles. And if you prolongingly use your muscles, mag-i-strain yan, mapapagod yan. So, make sure you rest. So what I'm doing is, for example, after an hour of continuous studying, I'm going to rest for 30 minutes. Okay? And hindi yun dadagdag sa sa oras. Basta 5 to 8 lang ako, with rests. So hindi siya, so meron akong tatlong rest period nun. So 30 30 30. So bale kalahati ng oras nagpapahinga ako. And then the more uh, the rest of the time nag-aaral ako. Kasi class, hindi nyo rin naman class. I'm sorry, nasanay ako sa teacher class. Okay? Kasi uh, hindi nyo rin maiintindihan yung hindi nyo rin maintindihan yung inaaral nyo if your brain is already tired. Okay, so make sure that you rest. And take note, when I say rest, you don't visit social media. Okay, you don't visit YouTube, you don't take a look at your Facebook, you don't go to Instagram or Twitter. Kasi alam naman natin kung saan na mapupunta yon. Kasi ay, pag sinabi natin magre-rest ka, ay magpapahinga lang ako, I'll just look at Facebook, I'll just stream YouTube, and then hindi mo namalaya, lagpas ka na sa 30 minutes sa kaka-YouTube at kaka-Facebook mo. So when I say rest, do not use your social media. So what are some resting tips? You could eat, you could listen to music, pwede mong i-close yung mata mo for a bit. You could talk to someone inside your house, catch up. You can drink coffee provided by Coffee Concept. So, shameless plug. So, if you really want a satisfactory or a very good cup of coffee, please order from Coffee Concept. By the way, they have a Shopee account. So if you want to order online, you could also buy through Shopee. And aside from drinking coffee and tea, pwede ka rin kumain tulad ng mga pastries na ino-offer ng Pancho's Lab. Okay? So yun yung mga rest tips. Matulog, uminom ng kape, kumain, or makipag-usap ka sa mga tao sa bahay. Catch up.
The next one is eliminate. The fourth tip that we are going to give to you is eliminate distractions. No, when you are going to open your online platform, whether it be, I'm not promoting these sites, Canvas, Zoom, Google Meet. No, whether you are going to open LMS, any learning management systems or platforms, make sure that your social media accounts are closed because you're not entertaining any other things no pag pumasok ka doon kasi always treat online classes as a real class. It's still a real class, no? So put off all your social media accounts para hindi mo marinig yung ting ganon, and then you'll be distracted. And of course, yung sinabi ni Randolph kanina, take rest. But there are schools or there are online classes na kailangan live si student nakikita, no? Please be polite din naman. Do not what Randolph was saying kanina was eat in order to rest. So that's after the classes. So please do not eat during classes if it's a live conferencing kasi it's still an etiquette to the professor or to the teacher. And of course, kagaya na nabanggit kanina sa environment, make sure that the environment is okay and not prone to distractions. But again, as I have mentioned, different homes, different households have different also source of distractions like noise ng kalsada kapag malapit kayo sa kalsada or utos ng nanay ninyo or mga kapatid ninyo. Those factors are inevitable and I hope this will be dealt before entering an online class because concentration and focus is still important when you are entering online classes. Yun. That's my tip with you guys.
Okay. So, I would just like to add doon sa social media tip ni JD. I think it's also helpful if you silent your phone. Put your phone on silent mode. And then yung mga group chat niyo sa Facebook, i-silent niyo muna siya for 3 hours, 1 hour, depending on your time. Kasi alam naman natin na once you hear that notification ding, yung ding, uh, madidistract na kayo. So, you silent your group chat or you silent your chat kung sino man yung lagi mong kausap, and then you silent your phone. Para na rin, mabawasan or malesen ang iyong distractions. And speaking of distraction, this brings me to my next tip. Okay, so my next tip is have everything prepared. Okay, so kunwari, mag-aaral na kayo, either online or remote, modular. Okay, so kunwari, modular, make sure that everything is there. Your module, your notebook, your pens, your eraser, your other paraphernalia like your calculator kung science man yan or math. Okay. So, kung online naman, make sure na okay na yung laptop nyo and everything na prepared ng lahat. So, why do you need to have everything prepared? Kasi, yung kunwari, may nakalimutan kang item na kailangan mo pala. Yung patayo-tayo ka from your seat, that would eventually end up being distracted. For example, nag-aaral ka na, you're in the zone of studying, and then kailangan mo pala ng correction tape, and the correction tape is not within reach. So tatayo ka, hahanapin mo yung correction tape, mawawala ka na naman sa momentum, mawawala ka na naman sa focus. Okay, so that is my tip. So you have everything prepared. Kasi yung patayo-tayo mo sa seat mo, madidistract ka lang ulit. Plus, it's disrupting the momentum of your studying. Saka 'di ba, mas masarap yung feeling na lahat within reach. Ay, kailangan ko ng correction tape, andyan na. Ay, naputol yung yung pencil ko, andyan na agad yung sharpener. Okay? So, nawala ng tinta yung pen ko, andyan na yung refill. Okay, or andyan na yung extra pen. Kasi nakakapagod din naman yung tatayo ka, uupo ka, and then tatayo ka, uupo ka. Okay, so that is mainly for you to have continuous focus on your task.
My next tip will be, of course, stay motivated. Um, you guys, no, nasa bahay kayo. And of course, home is a place of rest. It's a place of peace of mind. Dapat, no? But then again, because of the stress from the school, hindi mo na ma-distinguish kung nasa bahay ka ba or nasa school because of your online classes. But you have to be motivated. Lalo na for synchronous classes, you are motivated kasi nandyan si professor, the professor will be checking it. But for asynchronous classes, that is on your pace. No, nasa pace yun ng mga bata. Kung papanoorin na ba nila yung lecture video ni sir, babasahin na ba. Kasi actually, I'm doing pre-recorded lectures on my class. At the same time, nandun yung fear sa akin kung binabasa ba nila, kung nakikinig ba sila. That's why I still send the module and at the same time, give my pre-recorded lectures. Nandun yung fear kung pinapanood ba nila. But of course, in order for me to do that, I had to provide assessment every after the lecture video. But then again, pero yung submission kasi nun is on their own pace. Then, pero may binibigay lang akong deadline, no? And dapat ang student is motivated, self-motivated siya in order to do it. Kasi kapag synchronous classes, meron kang extrinsic motivator. Ay, may classes pala kami. Baka hindi recorded to o kaya mag-check si professor ng ng attendance, no? But for asynchronous classes and modular classes, it is on the pacing of the student. So kailangan motivated ka to study kasi 'di ba? The reason why you still go to school is because you seek and you sought knowledge. 'Di ba? Ganun naman po talaga yung initial purpose naman talaga ng education natin. And when I also say motivated, no, you're eager to study. Mahirap talaga sa sitwasyon natin ngayon. The issues on academic freeze is also very sensitive, but just like what Randolph has said kanina, Wala pa namang sinasabi ang mga nakatataas from CHED and DepEd, no, and considering the situation. Kasi may mga tao din naman na may mga kinoconsider din ang higher ang department. At of course, kinoconsider din naman nila yung mga walang access. No, it's a tough decision for them. It's a tough call for them. But ayun, the students have to be motivated in studying. Kasi kahit sabihin natin nag-enroll yung bata, kaya nung bata, they have the means, they have the internet, but if the student is not motivated, the purpose of online learning will be defeated. Ayun lang.
Yes, that's true. Motivation is really important. Okay? Napaka-importante talaga ng motivation. So, as a student, I think one of your responsibility is to find your motivation. Okay, kasi there are two types of motivation, 'di ba? There is this intrinsic motivation and there is this extrinsic motivation. Okay, so yung intrinsic motivation, nandiyan naman na yan eh. Okay? Kunwari, syempre nandiyan sa loob mo yung gusto mong mag-aral, gusto mong matuto. That is your intrinsic motivation. But sadly, most of the time, that's not enough, especially with what's happening right now. And according to studies, medyo stressing ang atong online classes and then yung mga work from home. Even though na nasa bahay sila, they found out that it's much more stressful compared to students actually going to school or employees actually going to work. So I think one of the best things that you can do in order to lessen your stress is to find your motivation. Okay, so for example, ako, my motivation primarily is food. Okay, so ang motivation ko lagi, like, I have a certain item in the fridge that I'm looking forward to eating. Like, for example, chocolate or dessert or whatever. Okay. And then, ang sinasabi ko sa sarili ko, I need to finish like 3 hours of online class or remote learning before I could eat that. So that is a kind of extrinsic motivation, external motivation. So yung motivation na nanggagaling sa labas. So in your case, hindi ko alam kung ano yung motivation nyo. So pwedeng, for example, you're into games, pwede nyo iset yung mind nyo na, ay, kailangan ko munang matapos tong class hours ko for 3 hours. And then after nun, makakapaglaro na ako ng ML. Okay? Makakapaglaro na ako ng PS4 or ng Nintendo Switch or whatever kung ano man yung nilalaro nyo. So, find different ways to keep yourself motivated extrinsically. Okay. And I would just like to add doon sa sinabi mo na when you attend synchronous classes, you will be motivated kasi nandiyan si prof or si teacher. Aside from that, yung it's also important to attend synchronous classes kasi minsan si teacher at saka si professor, kasi kadalasan ang nangyayari sa synchronous classes, updating na lang kung ano na yung natapos niyo sa module, ano na yung natapos niyo sa online class, and then recap na lang, additional info. So kailangan yung talagang umattend ng synchronous classes kasi there are things, there are concepts na hindi nasabi ni teacher or ni professor sa video, and then sa kanya sasabihin sa synchronous classes. Because synchronous classes are very spontaneous. So, it's much better if you really grab all the information that you can get. Okay, so it's important na wala kayong ma-miss. So, synchronous classes are full of concepts na hindi nabanggit dun sa asynchronous na ngayon lang binanggit. And that is very important. Kasi sometimes, minsan, pag trip ni professor, isasama niya yung sinabi niya sa exam. Okay, so, And plus, it's a great feeling na may malaman pa na iba na related dun sa topic nyo.
Okay. So yung mga nabanggit ko kanina is a tip for students generally, but this tip that I will be giving is tip for the parents.
Yes. I think
Please
that's
parents,
also important, the
uh,
parents.
kapag in-enroll nyo po ang anak ninyo sa online classes, your support is very much needed. Because ibig sabihin, because you believe that online learning will pursue in online classes, di ba? Kaya hindi mo lang siya in-enroll dahil sinabi ni DepEd na i-extend niya yung enrollment, no, nakailang extend siya. Instead, you're going to enroll your children because you believe that uh, they're still going to classes. Na hindi lang yun, it's not just a game. No? Hindi na to yung yung ang tagal mo magdamag ka na nasa computer, maghapon ka na nasa computer, no? Or maghapon ka na nasa cellphone. Considering that, no, parents, please support your students in ways that you can. I do not I do not demand parents, no, to buy their children cell phone or laptops. Um, no, hindi po ganun yung gusto kong mangyari. Ang gusto ko pong mangyari is, ang gusto kong ipangarating is kapag in-enroll po ninyo, you need to provide support in whatever means that your family can provide, whether it be moral support. In fact, moral support is the most important thing that a student can actually have. No, it's a great thing that a student can actually have because it will actually serve as an extrinsic motivator, seeing their parents, no, proud of them, seeing their parents supporting them. That will definitely boost the students' morale in pursuing online learning. But then again, yun nga, different households, different socioeconomic um, classes. The online learning, no, this online learning, also this pandemic, generally, this online learning also revealed a lot. This revealed how education must survive and how education is also somehow requires socioeconomic uh,
Inclusivity.
inclusivity, that education right now is does not include the general public. Parang sabi lang nila kung sino lang may kaya, kung sino lang yung may kaya. It's actually heavy for us teachers hearing that some of our students will not be able to enroll. It's very heavy in our hearts also. And yun, parents, please support your students. If your children, if you decide to enroll them, hindi yung enroll nyo lang sila dahil in-extend. And again, I do not demand, I do not force parents to buy anything for their children, but they need your support in any way that you can provide. Kahit moral support yan. Kasi moral support is really, really big for students. And ayun, um, it's tough for teachers, it's also tough for students kasi for teachers and for parents. Kasi may mga estudyante ka nang hindi makaka-enroll and it's heavy. And I think it's high time to reflect on what kind of education do we have. That this education is already defeating the purpose of education for all because of the pandemic. While dapat, despite the pandemic, despite the war or whatever happens, education must continue for all
Yes.
and must include everyone.
Yes.
That must include the accessibility of everyone. And we are looking forward uh, to our to the higher education and the Department of Education to consider, no, a lot of things before opening the classes. Kasi everyone needs support. Again, my message is not only for parents but for also for the higher ups, for those who are in the position, to please consider everything. Kasi online classes, for the student to survive online classes, they still need support.
Yes.
We need good internet connection. We need um, gadgets in order for it to continue. And not all students have that. Not all students have their own Wi-Fi. So I hope this will be provided before opening classes.
Yes. And I would just like to add na yes, it's important to for parents to support their child. And another way that I could think of ng where parents can show support to their children is maybe if your ability if it permits, kung papayagan, kung kaya naman, maybe you could work on the task together. Okay? Just like what we suggest to elementary students on their homework. Okay? So, it's really importante din na the the children and their parents work on a certain task together. Now, I'm not saying na like for every task in the module na kailangan tulungan siya ni parent. I mean, if it permits or you have the time or you can do it, you could help your child perform the task or finish the task. Plus, this will strengthen your bonding time. This could this could serve as your bonding time with your children. Kasi alam naman natin na since because of this pandemic, hindi na tayo nakakalabas, we could no longer do leisurely activities, and uh, that gives us more time for for you to bond with your child. Okay? So hindi lang naman sa pagmomall or pag-leisure activities yung bonding. Okay? So you could also find time to bond with your child by working on a certain tasks together. And also, I would like to add na yes, this pandemic has revealed a lot of things in the system of education. And it also revealed some lapses in the curriculum. Okay, kasi sabi ko nga before, kung hindi magkakaroon ng pandemic, hindi malalaman na may mga parts pala ng curriculum that is no longer effective, or may mga parts pala ng curriculum na kulang, or may mga parts pala ng curriculum na repeating na. Okay, so I think one of the silver linings that I could see from this pandemic is that this showed our flaws and the things that we need to work on, not just in the in education sector, but also in the government and in the society in general. Okay, so for my next tip, uh, okay, so this is my next tip. This goes for the students. Let's go back to the students. Okay, so since this is going to be remote learning or online learning, sometimes there are topics na mahirap for you to understand on your own. So this tip that I'm going to give you is that you please do not be afraid to ask for help. Whether kay teacher yan or yung sa kaklase mong nakakaintindi. Okay. Remember, in the 21st century skills, collaboration is part of the 21st century skills. Now, sometimes in order for you to finish a certain task, you need to collaborate with others or you need to ask for help. Now, ito yung misunderstanding ng karamihan ng mga students. Okay? Collaboration is not equal cheating. Okay? Those are not equal.
Synonymous.
Okay?
Yeah.
Ibig pag sabihin na makikipag-collaborate ka, ikokopyahin mo yung
Awa.
gawa niya. Okay? No, that's not it. Okay? Because you're defeating the purpose of education if you just cheat or if you just copy. Okay? What I mean by collaboration is that you could ask them for ideas. For example, gagawa kayo ng essay for your English class and then blocked ka. Hindi mo alam kung ano isasagot mo or hindi mo alam kung ano isusulat mo. You don't have any idea. Okay? Please do not resolve na, ay, makikipag-collaborate ako, kokopyahin ko yung gawa ni ganyan. That's not collaboration. Collaboration is yung you're going to ask, huy, anong, nasulat mo na ba yung uh, essay? Bigyan mo naman ako ng idea. Do you have any ideas about this topic? Okay. So, it's asking for ideas, not copying the work. Kumbaga,
Okay.
ang tawag namin dito nung kami ay college ay benchmarking.
Sino to? Sino to? Sinong proponent ng benchmarking na yan?
I think it was, I think it
Officially.
was Jerry.
Jerry.
Yeah, I think it was Jerry. Siya ang
Tapos si Rishalin ang proponent ng initiative.
proponent ng initiative. Yun. So, yung mga kaklase namin, sila yung mga proponent ng benchmarking and then yung initiative. Okay? Kaya,
Very educational
thankfully,
yung classmates natin.
because of those proponents, ay naging successful ang buong section. We're able to
I am
graduate.
really, really proud of our block, of our class. I'm really proud of our class. No, we are all motivated to pursue education, and meron pang isang proponent, si ano yon, drive for learning.
Yeah, drive for learning.
Jen ang proponent nito, di ba?
Si Jen ang proponent ng drive for learning.
Bit natin.
So sometimes makukuha mo rin sometimes makukuha mo rin yung motivation sa mga peers mo, sa mga kaklase mo. Kasi sa panahon ngayon, kayo-kayo lang rin naman yung magtutulungan as a section. Okay?
Yeah.
If you're in high school or where naka-section yung bawat estudyante, please, as a section, help each other. Instead of pulling each other down, pull each other up, lift each other up. Okay? So, magtulungan kayo, no one left behind. Tulad nga nung mga ginagawa namin, yung kaklase namin si Jaydee, ang sabi niya ay benchmarking. So, we collaborate on our work. Sabi naman nung kaklase namin si Risha, initiative. So, hindi namin pinapatagal yung isang bagay para hindi kami matambakan ng trabaho. At yung isa pa namin proponent na si Jen, na sabi niya, drive for learning. Na sinasabi niya na kailangan motivated tayo mag-aral. Okay?
But maghalaga din na since you are taking your online classes, you collaborate with your classmates. You talk with them, you find strength with each other. No? Para ma-motivate nyo yung group ninyo.
Yes.
Like creating a FBGC, a group chat is also okay. Finding someone you can relate or talk to with, do you have an assignment? Just like the regular classes. It will definitely help you. So those are tips for students that are really, really good.
Okay. And that brings me to my last and final tip. Okay, so nabanggit ni Jaydee yung paggawa ng GC. Okay, so for my last and for my final tip, since you are in your house or you're doing your online learning, use technology to your advantage. Okay, that would be my final tip. Use technology to your advantage. Kasi you have the internet in the palm of your hands. Okay, so kunwari nakulangan kayo sa information na binigay ni teacher. Kasi aminin natin na sometimes kaming mga teachers, may nakakaligtaan kaming information or may pagkukulang kami or sometimes hindi nyo naman naintindihan yung explanation namin. So since we are not here to directly help you, kasi dati 'di ba nung face to face, if you don't understand something, you just raise your hand and I will just answer your question. And since we cannot do that in remote learning and online learning, you have the internet to rely on. Okay, so you have technology to rely on. So use it to your advantage, maximize it. You could also use technology dun nga sa sinasabi namin benchmarking, collaborate with your peers, talk to them. Okay, again, I would like to emphasize to all students out there, collaboration is not equal cheating. Okay, when you're collaborating, it's not it doesn't mean that we're permitting you to cheat. Okay, that's not it. Tulad nung nangyari experience, share ko lang yung experience. My task for the students, this was last school year when there's face to face, but my performance task is that uh, they need to create a resume. Okay, they need to create a resume, and then be- before in the beginning of the class, I really emphasize on collaboration. Kasi nakita ko yung effectivity ng collaboration sa section namin ni Jaydee nung college kami. Okay, so today, now that I'm a teacher, I really emphasize on the use of collaboration. I think my students misunderstood me kasi nung pinasa nila yung essay, pinasa nila yung resume, pare-pareho ng format, pare-pareho ng laman. Yun pala ang nangyari, isa lang yung gumawa. Okay, so that is not collaboration, guys. Okay, so that is cheating. Okay, again, I would like to emphasize collaboration is not equal cheating. How about you, JD? Any final words?
Ayun, I want to highlight the support system that you guys need to create your own circle, your own support system as a class, as a group in order to survive this because we cannot all survive this alone. As teachers, nakikipag-usap din kami sa mga co-teachers namin. What mode of instructions are we going to do? What topic are you na? Not in that way. Anong topic mo na? Ganun. Or um, no, we are also talking. So you guys also need to talk to communicate with your classmates and of course communicate with your parents, with your teachers, with your friends because communication is what we need now. No, entering an online class is not easy. It's a different world. It's a difficult world as well, lalo na nandito pa tayo sa transition natin. You're facing a pandemic and then going to an online class is a different thing. Parang matinding transition ito sa lifestyle, sa life itself. But I think apart from support system, my last tip would be for the teachers that before you implement online classes, mode of instructions, please no, consult your students. Always consider their survival rate. Can the student survive a synchronous mode class if the student doesn't have a Wi-Fi? Can the student do this? No. So as teachers, again, needs assessment pa rin. Consider the situation of your students at their houses, at their homes. Alamin kung kaya ba nilang i-pursue yung pinapagawa mo bago mo ipagawa. Because I think they can do it in a regular class, but in an online mode, I don't think it would be easy. So again, consider your students. The survival of the student is also dependent on the teacher.
Yes, that is true.
Depende din yan sa teacher kung i-consider mo ba yung mode of instructions mo, makakasabay ba siya. No, sa teachers, medyo hinay-hinay lang din tayo.
Yes.
Because we also have to pace things not in our own pace or alone, or not because the syllabus told us or the curriculum told us, but because of our students.
Yes.
That would be my last tip.
Yes. So, as teachers, I think we really need to be considerate during this time. Okay, I think we need to be more lenient in terms of kasi naintindihan ko na sometimes we need to be strict, but because of the circumstances, I think we need to be more lenient. We need to be more considerate. Remember, as teachers, our duty is to the students. Okay, our
Yes.
duty is to the students to teach them, to love them, to impart knowledge, and to impart values. Okay, and I would also like to add, aside from academic support, you also need to uh, seek for emotional support. Okay? Kung saan nyo man makukuha yung emotional support na yan, do it. Okay? Because this online learning, work from home environment is really stressful, and it's sad to see that there are a lot of people who are suffering from mental illness because of this. So please find emotional support, not just academic. Yes, academic support is important. Your academic achievement is important, but you also need to take care of your physical health, your mental health. So please ask for emotional support. It could be from your friend, it could be from your teachers, it could be from your parents. Whoever it is, please, again, going back to my tip, don't be afraid to ask for help, whether academic or emotional. Anything more to add? Okay, so I think that that's the end of our podcast. So I hope you enjoyed the episode 5 of Tara Usap Tayo.
I just want to add again, our statement is only based on our experiences and on our perceptions on the online class. It will still vary on your location, on your situation, on the mode of instructions. No,
Yes.
this is not a ano, this is not a to address the entire public. No, but as much as we want to, we can't because we are also limited. No, limited lang din ang aming mabibigay na payo sa inyo dahil nga sa sitwasyon lang din namin na pinagbasihan namin. And I hope whatever the decisions will be made by the people who are in charge of education will be for the promotion of education for all, and that no student is left behind.
Okay? So that brings us to the end of Tara Usap Tayo. Now, Tara Usap Tayo has a good news. We are now available in Facebook. You could visit our Facebook page, Tara Usap Tayo, or you could visit PedX. Promote mo naman yung PedX.
Please visit PedX. No, it's an online education platform wherein teachers are featured, students' interaction is also observed in that Facebook page. Please like, follow, and share PedX. Join the usapan.
Yes. And also, we're also available from our usual platform, which is Spotify and Anchor. So I think that's it. Okay, that's it. Again, I'm Randolph
I'm Jaydee.
saying good night. I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.